During the week, I had an exclusive interview with Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. We talked about the National Assembly and his interest in the trial of Boko Haram financiers in the United Arab Emirates. It's the end of another legislative year. How would you say the National Assembly has fared so far?
It's been quite a year, in the life of our country and globally. It's been a very peculiar time. And referring to the 9th National Assembly and of course specifically the 9th Senate, as a parliament, and the legislative year, as it has been. It has been a very challenging year, It also has been a year of giant strides, in trying to redefine, the essence of our mandate, and the need for us to be there for the people. Since the beginning of this year, so much has happened, and up to now, things are still happening, and we have had to deal with different, levels of challenges, ranging from trying to react to the challenges imposed by the pandemic, of COVID-19, and the need to put together, all manners of stimuli, for the people that will cushion the effects of the pandemic attack on the people, and the need for us to be able to also provide a legal framework for a lot of the steps being taken by the executive arm of government, which we believe required very urgent and comprehensive legislative action. We have done, all we could to ensure that we're able to collaborate with the executive arm of government in doing this. And of course, the issue of insecurity has been another thing that has posed a lot of challenges during the year. And as a parliament, we also have stood, our ground, in different areas, trying to ensure that, one, money was appropriated, from time to time to ensure that, our armed forces were in a good position to prosecute this war. And as much as possible, we also have stood our ground in trying to insist that certain re-engineering be done, in the area of our security architecture, to ensure that we're not just voting money, for the prosecution of this war.
Speaking on insecurity, like you rightly highlighted, you are the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, and your committee showed interest in the trial of suspected Boko Haram financiers. How far has this gotten, and what else have you gotten to know?
Well, basically, that's one out of several fundamental issues that are awaiting, the attention of well-meaning Nigerians and especially of government. The Federal Ministry of Justice has been working so hard, in trying to work with the various arms of government, including within the executive arm, our armed forces, in trying to ensure that apprehended Boko Haram and other insurgency suspects, are prosecuted, in a timely manner, because the position of our law is that you are presumed innocent until found guilty, and you cannot find anyone guilty or not guilty until a trial process would have held, and it is the responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Justice to ensure that this is done, timelessly and judiciously.
The Zambambari massacre angered a lot of Nigerians, and it further exposed the brutality of Boko Haram members. In your opinion, or in your own perspective, what do you think about the rehabilitation and reintegration of Boko Haram members into the society?
Well, in all honesty, I've asked myself a lot of time, both privately and in official capacity. um, when a nation is waging a war, it's not a time to be distracted by any reason whatsoever. We're a country waging a war. We are not a church or a mosque preaching about forgiveness. That is to be taken care of at the altar. Our business as a nation right now is to work most diligently towards the protection of lives and property and defeat this common enemy of the Nigerian people. All right? Terrorism anywhere in the world is such a crime that needs to be combated headlong. And it's not a time to play game. It's not a time to play politics. So for me, the old talk about trying to rehabilitate Boko Haram terrorists or converts on the face of a raging battle is a distraction that I really don't think we should allow to cause more damage, because it's capable of causing more damage. But to say the person is being rehabilitated, and for that matter, and for crying out loud, you want to, rehabilitate the person in such a way that now incorporate the person, into the military because you think they understand the terrain and you want to use them to fight. It's like sitting on a keg of powder. It doesn't make any sense.
The Senate has called for the sack of service chiefs, and it appears that the president still remains adamant to these calls. In your own view, how do you feel, or are you worried that the president still refuses to listen to this resolution of the Senate?
What we are pushing for actually is not even really the case of sacking our service chiefs. You sack someone who is still validly in office, who still could have had more time to go, but you just feel you need to bring it to a sudden end. Our own understanding of these issues is that some of our service chiefs have even stayed past the time they could stay in office. If today we are talking about people who, in fact, have attained either of the two, or both, 35 years in service and 60 years of age, all right? And Nigerians are saying, we appreciate what they have done. They have tried their best, but let us try some new hands. It's not there's nothing harsh in such a demand. It's not a call for their sack. What we're just trying to say is that respect, the law, respect the regulations, protect the career of some other upcoming officers, who cannot make progress because as it is now, this situation is top heavy, and those who are meant to have gone, let them go.
There seems to be a silent protest among lawmakers in the Senate. From our observations, a good number of senators do not appear for plenary in this throughout this week. And from what we heard, or from the rumors we gathered, it's that there is a reaction to the Zambamari massacre, and they say they are not returning until the president adopts the Senate's resolution as well as that of the House of Reps. How true is this?
Well, I wouldn't take that as the truth, because I know better than that. And if I speak with the benefit of insight, I can attest to the fact that a lot of our colleagues are busy with different things. As we speak, we still have a few committees who are yet to finish with the final report of their budget preparation. We had the various ministries, departments, and agencies appearing before different committees of the Senate, because the way it works is during appropriation, every standing committee of the Senate becomes a subcommittee of the Committee on Appropriation. And we all had a mandate when we were suspending plenary session, to ensure that all the MDAs appeared within the window of 3 weeks, during which we were going to be on break, following which each committee was meant to file its report before the Appropriations Committee. A good number of committees were able to meet this target, but there were some, either due to the fact that when these MDAs appeared, there were issues that needed to be resolved. They gave them more time, because some MDAs had to write to ask for an extension of time within which to appear and defend their budget presentation. What we had was Mr. President coming to lay the budget itself. The details of the budget, were later presented by the Honorable Minister of Finance, while each MDA, each agency will now come and not only present the details, the nitty-gritty of it, but also defend same. And in doing that, also be ready to defend, the budget performance for year 2020. Without being able to satisfactorily do this, nobody is going to give you a new approval for 2021 budget. So these were issues that we needed to deal with. But of course, we had adjourned for a specified period of time, and we needed to reconvene. So in reconvening, it became obvious that, some committees still needed more time to do this. You would observe, that last week when we resumed, we only sat for 2 days. We did not sit at all on Thursday. The reason being that committees needed more time. The only thing is they are not in the hearing room. They are not in the. A lot of these things now are being done either in the small rooms or the chairman's rooms and some other things. So the work is still ongoing. And if you are a responsible chairman of a committee, or vice chairman of a committee, you have no business coming to sit in chamber for plenary when everybody is waiting for you to meet a deadline, because we have to pass this budget in December. It's already, today is already first week of December, and everything must be done. So this is one reason I know that has kept a good number of our colleagues away from plenary this week. I also know as a fact, as a member of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, that at least 22 of us were expected to be in Lagos right now. A lot of people have gone. I'm here because of my other commitments. In other words, all the members of the Senate Committee on Downstream Petroleum and all the members of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Upstream, were meant to be in Lagos. The whole of this week, to discuss the nitty-gritties of the petroleum and industry bill.